Hi, I'm Dr. Jonathan Sharp, Associate Professor of Music at Iowa State University. And today I'm going to discuss four-mallet marimba playing with Stevens Grip. And so the first thing that we'll do is we'll drop our hands below our shoulders. That's the most natural position for our fingers and hands, and that's how we want to play as much as possible. So we could just bend at the elbows and raise up, and it's almost like a handshake type of a grip. So now we can take that and start putting mallets in our hands to get this Stevens Grip happening. So if we can think of the hand as divided in half, we have the thumb half, and there's actually like a large thumb base or pad on that side of the hand. That'll come into good use later with the inside mallet. And then the other half of the hand is, we'll call it the pinky side of the hand. So we're going to start on the pinky side of the hand, and that'll be our outside mallet holder. We're going to use our pinky and ring finger together to curl around that mallet shaft. And so they're curled, and keep it nice and firm in the hand, not to let fall too loose where the mallet head falls below where we need it to be. So we keep them nice and tight and curled, and about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch out the bottom of the pinky is a good position. So now we can open up the hand a little bit and see the inside of the palm, and we're going to put the inside mallet right at the center. The butt end is at the center of the palm, and that is naturally, for most hands, right below that thumb pad base. So we can curl that thumb over, and the thumb pad actually kind of keeps it in position there. That mallet's going to rest on our curled pointer and middle finger, and we'll call that the perch for that mallet to rest on. The thumb can just close it down and keep it all in contact. So now if you notice, the thumb and the pointer finger are working together in one position on the mallet, and it's very similar to how a snare drum stick works the same way with match grip. We have a thumb and our pointer finger on the stick. The pointer finger is perpendicular to the stick, and the thumb points straight down. And in Stevens Grip, on this inside mallet, those fingers can do the same thing. So the pointer finger is perpendicular to the mallet shaft, and the thumb is on top at the exact same point on the mallet shaft, so we don't have this happening. And the thumb is pointed straight down. And we can use that thumb to actually spin the mallet on top of the perch. Just as if you had a mallet on a table and rolled it across the table. The mallet will spin and move position. It does that in the hand as well. So we use that middle finger to keep the butt end of the mallet shaft in the center of the palm, or roughly the center of the palm, and the thumb can just spin that mallet in and out over the perch. So there's actually a twist of the mallet. It kind of feels like if you roll up a gum wrapper in your fingers. And we can use that middle finger to actually, when we go for a wider interval, I'm going to go from narrow and I'll spin out to wide. At a certain point, we're limited. We can use that middle finger to kind of keep that butt end of that mallet shaft curled in. And it'll actually, you can spin and curl the butt end of that mallet to move a little bit towards those knuckles and actually underneath the knuckle of the middle finger. So we're moving from here all the way over to here. And it helps to, as you spin, to lift a little bit, to release those mallets out and then lift back in. And it's natural to have the little bit of lift, because when we do that, we're going to play the notes on the instrument anyway. So in, and then instead of separated moving out, move out with the lift. Now this stroke, the most comfortable position would be about a 4th or a 5th for the interval. So we could start there. And the stroke is all in the wrist motions. The instrument height is very important here. So we want to make sure the instrument is right below the hips. So the instrument isn't too low. If it's too low, it's difficult for wrist turns, and it's uncomfortable for the hands. And if it's too high, that's uncomfortable in other ways. So just a natural, slightly downward position for the forearms is most comfortable. And everything is powered with the wrist. If I play with good wrist motions and I'm relaxed in my upper arm, I actually get a wrist pop. Back into my wrist, I'll actually pop up on the downstroke. And that's a good checkpoint to know that we're using all wrist strokes. As soon as I start incorporating some arm, I lose that wrist pop. So it's the same thing as when we play a snare drum with a snare drum stick. and the back end of that stick pops up when the stick goes downward. And the wrist should do the same thing on snare drum. Same thing with Four-Mallet Stevens Grip. So now that we have the proper instrument height, we've talked about the grip for the Stevens Grip and Four-Mallets. We could do the same thing in the left hand. It'll be a mirror image, just like we do with match grip on snare drum. And we number the mallets 1, 2, 3, 4 from low to high on the instrument. This makes it easy for a reference for what we would call stickings on certain marimba music. So there you have it. In the next video, we'll talk about all the different stroke types for the marimba.